So now we have a nice way to restrict users' access to certain parts of the application. I just want to do a bit of maintenance in this video on the editing of users. So right now, if we come and edit a user, you can see the checkboxes aren't ticked for the roles that they currently have. So let's put something in place so the checkboxes are checked if the user has them roles already. So over in the app, come to Resources, Views, Admin, Users, Edit. And if we come down to our for each loop here that's printing out the checkboxes, and in our input here, this is where we need to say whether it's checked or not. So I'm just going to go inside of this input bracket here, bring it down on the next line to make things easier to read. And what we want to say if, and we want to get the user's roles. So we can say if this current user, and we'll grab their roles. And that roles is coming from the relationship that we put on the users model. And we're going to pluck out just the IDs of the roles. And now we've got a list of the roles, we need to see whether this current checkbox that's being printed out matches one of the roles. So what we can do is we can just call a Laravel method called contains. And we want to know if this array of IDs from the database contains the current role ID in the for each loop. So we can just do role ID. And then if that matches, we can just say checked. So it checks the checkbox. And then obviously we just need to close this if statement. So if this current role ID is in the list of the user's roles ID, then check the box. So let's save this and take a look. And now when we refresh this page, the admin checkbox should be checked for us. And you see there it's checked already. So let's just go into the author and check them. We see they have the author, and if we check user as well and do update, and then we go see here we have the roles of author and user now assigned to the author, and we click edit. You see they're both checked there, ready for updating. So let's remove the user role, and you see it's gone, and then it's not checked the next time you go into the page. So another thing I want to add into the edit page is the ability to change the user's name and the user's email. So at the moment when we click edit, we can only edit the user's roles. So let's add them in. So what I'm going to do is just take the text field from the login page and copy and paste that in. So under the views, under auth, come over to login, and I'm just going to take this email form group here. I'm just going to copy that over, and I'm going to put that in above the checkboxes. So I'm just doing this so I don't have to type it all out, because as you can see it's just a lot of HTML code and you don't want to sit there and watch me type that out. So we can actually use this for updating the email. So up here in the label, we're not passing down any of the language in this tutorial, so we'll just get rid of that and just type in email here for the label. So we've got an ID of email, a type of email, that's fine. We can leave the errors in as email, that's also fine, and a name, obviously most importantly, of email. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this down now for the user's name. So all we need to do now is just change over the instances of email to name. So for the label it's name, and the labels for the name input. Let's give it an ID of name, and the type is going to be text. And then we're going to do name for the errors and name for the name of this field. And then we're going to fill in the old data of name if there's an error and we redirect back. We're going to get rid of the autocomplete here. We don't need that for the name. Then the error, we're going to put in name. Now let's have a look at our form now. And just to make things look a little bit better, I'm going to change the column MD4 to MD2 here for the labels, from both labels. And we could do with putting our checkboxes in a form group as well. So I'm just going to grab this div here and then wrap our for each loop inside of the div with a class of form group and row, and then obviously just close that div after the for each. Let's give this a label, make the form nice and consistent, and this is for roles, and we'll say roles here. And then finally just wrap it in a div with a call of MD6. So we can wrap that around the for each loop, just like so. So now everything's consistent. Let's refresh this and take a look. You see we've got a nicely positioned form now. So we've got the same problem that we did have with our roles at the start of the video, the user's current email and current name is not auto filled in. So let's do that. So we can do that quite simply by coming up to the name and coming over to the value, and instead of putting old name in here, we can do the user and simply get their name. And the same for the email column. We could just do user and get me their email. So let's refresh and take a look. And you can see it fills the email and name in for us. So now we've got that filling in, we need to save that to the database when the user clicks update. So over in the root of our app, we come to HTTP, controllers, admin, users controller. And then we come down to our update method. And you see we're already passing our user in here. So all we need to do is call user name, and we're going to set that equal to the request, and we're also passing the request in here already. And we want to set the name equal to name, and then same again for the email. So the user's email is going to be equal to whatever's in the request email, and that's the request coming from the form. And the final thing we need to do is just call user save, and that just saves the current user model with the updated name and email. So let's give this a try. So instead of admin user, I'm just going to remove that and just call it admin, and let's update. And you can see now the user's name has been updated to just admin. And let's just do the author as well. So let's remove the user and let's give them a role as well so we can check the whole form is working. Click update. And you see the name's now author, and the author has a role of author and user.